Part of the win when NA's in the server. Thank you, gentlemen, for your breakdown. I recall at the beginning of 2024 when we walked in to Katowice for the first stage of that event and we watched the hometown heroes of Rebels beat Cloud9. Felt unfathomable before that event went live, but now here we are on the doorsteps of Cologne and we're in a similar state mode. The open German qualifier winners of alternate attacks up against Complexity and a wounded Complexity at the moment. I think they could pick this scab off the server.
Oh, interesting.
Let's see what happens.
I mean, why doubt anybody at the opening stage of Cologne? We don't know what is going to happen. We've already seen Saw take down Mongols today, and a lot of teams are powering up. We've already heard from the interview that they put in a ton of prep specifically for Complexity, and of course, they're here to play Cologne. It's the event of the year for them, and the biggest event that they played in so far.
Nothing down banana, so we get the top mid fight, and that's where Floppy pieces together a couple kills. Alicia's right here with him. Sure, we get the balcony drop out for alternate attacks, but Headshot's looking real clean. And unfortunately, Perks stuck into the pit. He has CTs swarming all around him. Molly to try and get out here, but it doesn't look like Library Fight's going to offer much. So let's talk about Complexity, starting a map with momentum, perhaps.
Yeah, we're going to see if basically what kind of Complexity that we get. I mean, there's just no expectation that this is going to be a difficult match for Complexity on paper. It's just that we want to throw the papers out because it's supposed to be, we're supposed to see, we want an underdog victory. Like, that's what we want, right? And even if it's a map, even if it's a few great rounds, that's what we're looking for here for alternate attacks. But as was also said in the interview, pregame with Shocks, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe not.
Yeah. Quick little techie here. We'll get through this one. Nice to see. I like that. I like that our analyst is ran back with the literal Complexity Challenger trophy lift. You see the way Elige grabbed that trophy? Like he's been waiting a little too long to get his hands on something like that.
Sometimes that's hard. You know, you see a player that has been playing for so long that used to win so much, grab a trophy like that, and it's like when Furia won Espu, you know?
I was just about to draw that parallel. Yep, go on.
It just, you can tell how much it means to them, even though they know in the grand scheme of their career, it's not the biggest win that they want or expecting, or they're looking for a major, but they won the event, you know? That's the bottom line. And so it's a smaller event, but Complexity, you kind of need to build momentum somewhere, some kind of confidence, and that win maybe helps. I don't know. But
another, unfortunate parallel to draw from the whole Furia Espo is that they finished this season with a trophy lift, as did Complexity in 2023, and then Furia kicked off the following year with, again, a bit of struggle, some disappointments, and Cole find themselves in that same thing, right? So that probably like relief and jubilation of finally having your win, a win. Doesn't matter where or when, it's a win. And yeah, let's hope they can turn that one around.
And Furia are the team to make a roster move, and I think that's what makes them interesting here at Cologne, whereas Complexity are the team that are sticking to their guns and trying to beat their previous results. But so far, it's been more of the team that we still recognize, a team that's capable of taking top teams the distance, but also a team that fails often enough to close out in those best of threes at sort of any stage. You know, it's really difficult to tell exactly how far the team is going to get. And we just casted a lot of their games at the Blast groups, and as Bleb brought up, we got everything from a disappointing opening to Heroic, who were playing with a coach, to, getting revenge. And
you got everything you do and do not want out of Complexity.
Yeah.
Back to start that one, so, a little rough. But I think some adaptations from Cole as well. I've heard that Floppy is maybe playing a little more aggressively nowadays.
Oh, yeah?
Maui Snake was talking about it. He was telling me all about how, Floppy, he feels like Floppy has found maybe some of that confidence. He's bursting out of his reserved self inside of the server and trying to put himself forward in maybe what is this kind of turbulent time for Complexity. That was his assessment of Cole's recent changes. Again, roster hasn't changed. One of the longest standing rosters now. You've had Elige for over a year.
Yeah.
If you're not going to change the pieces, maybe you have to remold them. And I think that's maybe what Floppy's trying to bring to the table in 2024.
Well, we know, even though there were dark times on Team Liquid, Elige was the longest standing member of the roster. who's somebody who was inseparable from the logo for a very long time. So surely him moving to complexity is not a small move. In his head, it certainly wasn't a small move to everybody watching. And I'm surely he's fully intent on trying to make the sort of relationship work on the team to achieve what he achieved before. I can't imagine for Elige that him as a competitor, I just, every time I see him lose a round, lose a tournament, I mean, you can just tell how much winning means to him. But he's got his work cut out for him.
I think that, if I'm Complexity as well, you look at the tenure that he brought forward on Team Liquid, that commitment to the project, the commitment to the organization, and what he was able to succeed with. And it's just sort of, for me, it's a guarantee that if you want to, you can work with him for long periods of time. And if I'm Jason Lake and I'm Complexity and I'm looking at Elige, I mean, let's be real, he's one of the best in North America still to this day. He's got that in him, and as you've alluded to already, right, fierce competitor. So in my mind, I kind of give Elige what he wants. If we do continue to go down this road where the Complexity formula doesn't work and maybe roster moves do have to occur, again, down the road, we know at the moment, re-sign contracts, this is the goal for the time being. Clearly Elige has to still be your number one within this project, right?
I set on, Shanghai to, I think, dictate what happens next, because so much rests on that. I mean, even just monetarily for any team, that's not even a bad thing to say. That's just the reality of the game. There's just so much that comes down to majors, whether it's prestige or to be able to stay afloat. And I think that, justifying a team like this, especially in trying to keep Elige's interest, trying to make sure that the better parts of the team are working very well. If you don't get a good result at a tournament like Shanghai, a tournament like this at Cologne, these are going to be your biggest reflection moments. Everything else, we just did blast groups, and a lot of people and players will use it as a way to warm up into the season, and that's actually very sound, a sound way to do it. It's a forgiving format. You get some good matches versus top teams.
Right.
And you can take losses there as long as those are learned losses. But Cologne, it's no, there's no learned losses anymore.
No. They've gone through that.
It's full performance.
It is, there is this duality to it. Let's say it is still a learning experience and a good warm up and practice to come into Cologne off of the back of groups. But my fear as well for a Complexity is that once again they end that event in Copenhagen with a very depressing kind of lost in round 24 on Anubis, for example, in their final game.
Your guaranteed overtime round.
Yeah, I almost get concerned sometimes where I'm like, oh, you didn't just use this as a warm up into Cologne, but oh no, because of the nature of that loss, you have now almost stunned yourself coming into Cologne.
Sure.
Right? It's even if you don't succeed as per your expectations, come at an event like groups where you're just using it as this runway. Well, what if it backfires in that regard? What if it chips away at some confidence you guys were building, or some chemistry that was finally kind of going in the right direction, and then right before coming into the event that truly matters more, oof, you've actually taken a step backwards.
Yeah, just in terms of performance, there's always a balance that you have to strike between learning and confidence. And I think that you can afford to lose because that's when you are going to make improvements. But if you lose too much, you can't even see the path to victory. Then even the games that you would have won on a confident day, you don't have those anymore because you're no longer confident. And I think that's why in terms of performance, you see things come and go in long strides, over the course of months. You build up confidence, it lasts you a few months, right?
Right, yeah.
See a team like FaZe, and they're at sort of their weakest point since mid-2022, but they're still FaZe. So, they've got some confidence helping them with putting together some decent results. As we are ready to get back into the game, it looks like into round 2.
Shall we?
Shall we? We shall.
Should we?
We should.
Then let's. Pistol round for Cole. Confident fight out of the pistol round too, right? Just to kind of re-jog everybody's memory. 2 players prying down middle. Clean headshots. First out of Floppy, followed by Elige. Yes, Alternate got this attack out the balcony, but stopped in their tracks from that point forward. So I'm going to be kind of keeping a close eye on some of the setups and plays of Alternate aTTaX, just because Hyped seem very adamant that the preparation came in was specifically planned for Cole, as it should be.
Yeah, and Hyped, he's got to be the most, I think, experienced player on the team, having played with Big.
Yes, sir.
And really, I don't know, I was a big fan of his, to be honest. I wasn't totally ready for him not to work out on that main lineup, but he wasn't quite an explosive player. He went for it very often, and maybe he just needed a little bit more time to like create a groundswell of experience to get ready for the chance. But I can see the potential for sure. And then sort of like how ZTR is built up and went to Metasport and
has rebounded as he's gotten older. Nobody can overstate the value of kind of the academy pipeline. And I do respect Big for kind of giving more academy players chances.
True.
Not every academy team ends up serving their main roster, but Big take a different approach. Big impact from Cole down at the base of Banana. We all saw it coming. Unarmored Glocks. Nobody's trying to peek or pry out anything. So Complexity, I think, are coming into this game. Surely Complexity are coming into this game to stomp alternate attacks.
Yeah, I'd say like, if they let 6-7 rounds go by, I think they'll be slightly disappointed because they've got their eyes on a deep run period. They are trying to get as far away from that loss to Navi as we saw a couple days ago, and alternate attacks can't be the team that steps in their way. They can't be the second and biggest upset of the day.
So we get it. First guns out from aTTaX. And again, we're going to get this bottom Banana MP9 control. Now, that's 2 MP9s on Banana. There's no support from any of the M4s, the 2 that are on the field. See if JT struggles if he ends up having to take a shot.
They throw a very early arch smoke without seeing anything in brackets, but this actually works out because Cole don't have vision here, even though alternate attacks don't know about it. So let's see how this affects the map. I think they're just going to walk back to B. This pressure is correct. This could be like a read on how they play mid-control. But there's still 2 CTs here at the top of Banana.
Well, reads are what we're looking for with this T-half. Execution, the harder part of the battle. Ozek not giving any fights just yet. We do get that third piece. Elige moving over to join the B site. He's moving in with a flashbang. And of course an incendiary as well. So if that exec can move forward, but it's a big if. Alternate attacks double back with that deep smoke over towards Library. They've isolated Elige's rotation back in, and he's still not biting down on this. But we do get the Banana push as the T's are starting to hit. This little bit of a delay maybe from the T's. Yeah, it gives JT time to get behind them. So attack is compromised. Hold's looking strong. Halzer gonna tuck in case Floppy needs him, and he will. Floppy the first casualty of the defense, but then they get that arch control. They've cleared out the site, down to 8 seconds. This all got a little frazzled with that JT flank, but they've equaled it out. And from there, Elige comes in, gets himself the clutch in the 1v1. That's a solid hit from alternate attacks, considering that it was starting to go south and it was red right before it comes into the site.
100%. I'm very surprised that they found all those trades. And yeah, to be frank, they set up the map in a way where they kind of got the rotations they were looking for out of Complexity, but they just didn't move in time when it was time to go with a follow through. And that's when you saw the JT flank, the trouble begins, because they get worried and they're now pushed into a site hit. They know they're getting flanked and they've lost a man advantage, but they fight their way through this. So that's pretty impressive. But Elige, he does all the work. It's 3 kills to get that final trade and the clutch. And I think this is a moment where alternate attacks both show, sort of like how imprecise they are, but at the same time how much fight they potentially have, and also that they show some preparation as well.
Yep.
They did take a risk by going for bracket control without seeing anybody, but it ended up being the right read. And you do have to trust those.
And the replay there too, we see how Arrow ends up shutting down JT's short flank, so nice little bit of rifle work from him. There's a lot of eyes set on alternate attacks right now in this matchup to learn if they're gonna kind of pull any punches at this event. Well, who's got the hardest hands? Funnily enough, we see Arrow, who just picked up those 2 clean headshots, come into this one with the solo AK. So he trucks through, and it's JT to hold back the first player, but AK changes hands. Great trade frag out of Perks with the Tech 9. This is a great chance to overwhelm Grim. The Banana splits a little bit slow. It gives Grim a chance to reposition it at the back of the site as opposed to playing front coffins. He knows now that he is outnumbered, is about to get swarmed. challenge from the coffin side. Pistols pushing through, but it's a second strong trade, and now a second rifle in the hands of the aTTaX.
And they're all playing right side sight right now. CTs don't know it, and they're also not coming in from B. Hypes will probably take first contact here. Ooh, be careful.
Yeah, keep that gun out. Second peek comes through. Trades continue to look good. And unfortunately, still just losing numbers. Perks could line up 2 frags for the clutch. Floppy's coming at him, and he wants to play the bomb. Bails back around the coffins. Over top goes Floppy, and he will clutch to keep Complexity winning. But these are real openings for alternate attack so far.
Extremely close. They go 1 for 1 on JT and CT and hit that split onto B, and Grim only gets his 1 kill. If he gets 2, it's probably a much easier retake, and it still remains a very winnable situation here for alternate, but still a nice try considering they come in with 1 real strong gun. And once again, their prep leads them to an open choke point. They run through their own arch smoke, and the rotation onto the site is correct because they smoked Moto to influence the CTs to turtle up. And so again, like the IGLing that's happening right now, I think is getting the most out of the situation, but they would wish that the game plan is being met by just slightly better frags because they might be up a couple rounds.
A lot more early aggression up Banana, and that utility's paying off already. Suddenly Complexity's defense has to scramble back into the site, call for the rotate to come over.
I like to see alternate attacks not going quite as quickly as they did this last round. I think they do have to kind of try to condition Cole again. They're going to be a bit more suspicious about fakes and things like that based on what we've seen so far. And I think they're going to be a little bit less gullible about rotating. But that also means that this is when you can go forward with a straight sight hit after some time and not overplaying your hand by trying to put pressure on both sides of the map. Because, like say, they retook bracket and then went over to B, and Complexity would be super suspicious, probably reclaim it. But if they don't do anything, maybe they just sit on their hands. Where's the 5th player on the map? I am so...
It's boosted.
Oh, boosted. Okay. I was like...
Got a little fusion summon going on in the back of the site. Front. Ooh,
got the smoke.
Yeah. CT smoke thrown in the middle of the site here. Lige threw down a smoke to play in front of it. Just looking for that climb up orange. 20 seconds, they get 2 kills. 3rd player's down.
Okay.
3 players stack inside of B, and not one puts forth a frag.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get kills if you're Complexity. It's a nice one from alternate, and I actually like how they kept it simple with the B site hit. I mean, you can have 3 players stacked in the site, but to be honest, like the B site is just like, I think in that situation, if you were low grenades, you'd play more of a stacked position late into the round and hope the exec comes in, you stop it. But when you have numbers and you're going up against a lot of utility, T-site hits on the B site are just so powerful with the mollies that come down that it's not really that easy to just pick your best spots and sit and hold angles. Like, you are going to get God flashed, you are going to see mollies come to the back of the site like we just saw, and it's not a given that you're going to instantly win. You also only have 2 riflers firing off at the same time when your 3rd one's boosting, so it's not as if you're there with 3 players, and because they know it was a boost, they're ready for a 3rd one to swing out. But I mean, the expectation for Complexity is still to win in the situation, just based on firepower alone.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe a little awkward because Lige is so fixated on kind of punishing an orange climb up, and it doesn't look like we had anybody go for it. So his angle kind of gets nullified just by absence of targets. But either way, it all gets swept out from beneath them, and alternate attacks on the scoreboard. So considering we had those 2 back-to-back single survivor rounds for Complexity, and then alternate attacks come out with just this clean B hit, keeping majority alive, T-side's got a good chance to come alive now. Look at this, Desert Eagle for JT.
Yeah, there's just so much stress on this round for alternate attacks. It makes up for, as you said, the 2 losses that they had just because Cole only had 1 player alive. So let's see if they can capitalize on the situation.
Would be a perfect chance for them to show us what they've got on their map pick with the preparation.
But they have the op on A holding Halls. They're not coming in from both sides on Halls. Oh, but Halzerk misses.
Yep, and he gets tagged for half. Floppy goes down in Boiler. Lige also empty-handed yet again. 3 players on a bomb site, and yet again, not one of them puts forward a kill. JT's rotate with the Deeg will stop aTTaX from going deeper. Maybe he could save an AK, but that's the slimmest of silver linings here for Cole.
This is quite certainly the site that they wanted them to go to. The approach was not that great from the halls where they were both coming up the stairs. Halzerk, we didn't see it, but he missed a shot on a player he was holding. Then they also had Floppy inside of Boiler to go ahead and go for a second kill if Halzerk got his first one. That's the idea. And Elise would catch mid if they decided to come up mid. But the first domino falls in Halzerk. Then Floppy gets caught off by the second because they don't have that, second player dominance anymore. The distraction is gone. And, well, it all falls apart. And, 3 players down on the site, just like over on B, no kills back for Complexity.
That is a worrying parallel in back-to-back rounds. And suddenly, for 4 players on alternate aTTaX who have never played a Tier 1 LAN, that is a sigh of relief. That is okay, this door is open. We are not going to get raffle stomped.
And I would be believing in the game plan big time.
Yep.
Those alternate aTTaX. I mean, even the rounds where the calls didn't work out, they had the right idea. They just moved a little too slow on one round, didn't frag out enough on the second.
Curious to see if they pick up tempo. We saw that one fast round with Tech 9 splits. Mac 10 was looking for something, and such little resistance on a B site. A smoke grenade that goes up. Surely this can be that welcome invitation to just swarm a site, but I think alternate aTTaX have been playing nice and slow in some of these setups. Just make sure you're not jumping into a pistol stack. Whether or not you thought you would get such an early opening into the map, don't throw it away, boys. So double smoke exec, JT. He's gonna be dealing with the Mac 10 in a moment, but now they still don't know if there are more players, so a little cautious, a little hesitant. JT does a good job to set this up. Smoke there for the cross means Alicia's Deeg gets nothing, but JT nails a second through smoke. Definitely doing enough on his own this time. Things start to get frantic here for alternate aTTaX. Sure, pistols not in the back of the site, but the whole pack's coming.
Yeah, and it's Perks. He knows this round comes down to him as they're gonna wrap around construction. They're not coming B right now.
Freeze into the front site. We get Grim's Famas looking for a target. Hype hits his shot, reaching out for a weapon, so there's another pistol trying to get this gun going forward. Everybody here for alternate aTTaX in the post plant, posting up a frag apiece, and that is exactly what you hope for. JT goes above and beyond, and it's still not enough to get anything after that.
That's huge, and you can hear them. They're 5 fingers on one hand right now. That's a great round to have in the pocket. I mean, this is JT getting, 1 kill here. It's okay, a little scary, but also they know it's pretty much a full save outside of that, and they know they're not running into a full stack site as soon as they get that bomb planted. So the second one is where things get hairy, and they start seeing, oh man, this could be a disaster. But instead, they land on their feet. So
just great post-plant positioning as well, right? Backside anchor, crossfire with Banana. Nobody caught with a nade out, just clean. Picturesque as far as 3v5 post plants go, but burn forward this round, aTTaX thinking he'd have a fight to win. Now CT's want a little more, and it's a great interruption there. Elise sets up Grim to succeed, and now that you've got 2, go play your bomb site.
Yeah, that's true. Now you can peel back big time. Full turtle, rotator spot, sit behind smokes.
Turtle.
And let alternate aTTaX make their next move. But we've seen them not get a single trade on a bomb site with 3 players.
And if that happens here again,
that would be the 3rd time.
3v2 post plant, perhaps. Halzerk. Ooh, tuck behind tall box. I wonder if this lets Perks walks out in a second. Obviously, once he does exit the door, he's going to be concerned about Pit, but we'll see if Floppy can stop somebody in the process. It's going to be tough to predict this angle come the balcony exit, but they do get 2 and 3.
Oh my god, they get 1 kill? Wait,
no
1 kill.
Way.
Trying to stop that site hit.
Floppy catching somebody off guard from behind the truck. The fact Halzerk goes down in this off angle, then they find the flank.
No
2v5.
No way they're going to 2v5 Complexity.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, this,
Tied game, boys.
I mean, we see tragedies for complexity in like big matches versus teams like Na'Vi, Imperial, stuff like that. But
where's the Darf cam now? And we can't get too ahead of ourselves, of course. Complexity.
yeah,
They will fight tooth and nail because God knows they need it.
they've had of their 3 site hits last 3 times alternate aTTaX have come onto his site. Complexity have killed 1 player.
I want to see this. Oh, Hulzerk swings out. So obviously, suddenly far more predictable. He tries to swing out. And Perks goes back, catching the flank too. I mean, Perks MVP of the round, no doubt.
Yeah. They are 1 for 9 on kills in site defenses right now.
Oh, Nelly.
In these last 3 rounds.
And just like that, Complexity's recent wounds reopen.
Hulzerk's having a nightmare start. I mean, he with the op in the Hall setup, he has kind of missed a couple of times. He doesn't get a kill here. Not the best position right now. And it looks like alternate aTTaX, they'll finally get a completely vacant site. They've run into the stack site a couple of times and actually just chewed through it. Now a moment of respite.
JT going to try to just send it to Coffins. We saw him do good work when he was here alone with the M4, but yeah, burned off an angle. Not even really any chance to spam away. So bomb plant guaranteed in a moment. Arrow going to plunk that bad boy down.
And this will give alternate aTTaX the lead.
On the T side of their map pick.
No luck involved. In fact, it could have been even worse. 2 of the rounds lost were
true.
clutches, 1v1s.
This could just as easily have been a 7-2 score for aTTaX.
That's not even factoring the ecos that follow those rounds. This could have been a 13-0, Connor. 13-1. We have to give them the pistol.
Good cover here from Hype. Bomb will deal with JT. See ya. And with it, 5 alive. So well earned. Alternate aTTaX get an easy one. Open sight there for the taking.
The opening matches have a specifically high amount of preparation, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Especially for the underdogs coming into this. Complexity know there's a tailored game plan waiting for them as they enter the server, and they have to fall back on their own game and their protocols and their individual skill. But when those don't come through, well, we have a situation that we have now. Now they're staring at the face of a team that is pretty damn well prepared for them. They're fighting hard to win these rounds, but they're actually coming out ahead. And I don't know, some of their individuals are just not there right now.
We talked about how Complexity we're going to be powering up and practicing over the last week. Well, you know what alternate aTTaX were doing that entire time? Glued to the monitor.
Watching their game.
Analysts in full effect. Dissecting and preparing. And so alternate aTTaX looking to pick flesh from the bones of Complexity. aTTaX opens up. Kill to Grim is nice, but Elish does push down bottom mid. And aTTaX's going to walk in, give up his back. This draws Hyped into the same problem. Easy double for Elish. And not to mention softened up by JT. So that's what we needed, right? Elish stepping forward as...
But it wouldn't be the first time that 3 players come onto his site.
Why'd you say it?
Don't drop a kill. There's a nice one. Oh, actually, this is a bomb plant. 3 players running back through B.
What? He mollied his bomb off. Bomb is sitting inside a boiler. They think there's going to be a fast flank.
They don't even believe the site's open right now.
Yeah, well, maybe still worried about Elish because he was bottom mid.
I feel like Perks doesn't get away with this. Let's see. Oh, they are ready for him.
Good trade. Now the bomb drops down with the smoke still up. He will replenish that. You got Elish 2 kills deep. He just dives the bomb site, trying to apply pressure, trying to assert himself, and they'll do so. A little bit delayed. Worried about Elish, I think, in the back line when really he had exited B to wrap around with the pack. But still, the fact that they exit out, get the entries into the site, and plant bomb, it's still good things to say about alternate attacks.
I mean, it was a 2v2 there for just a moment, so.
Off the 2v4 from Elijah's very confident mid-push. Hyped, fed to the wolves there. But Elijah definitely coming through with big impact. 2 kills at the bottom of middle, and also coming through that arch trade successfully. So 2 more rounds to play before Complexity take to the offense.
So for Hyped, we're looking for, explosive rounds. His individual level coming into this match has not been one of the standout players.
Ooh. Nice. Good fadeaway there for JT. You're not getting away.
He's like, why me, man? You shot the op.
Take what you can get. Looking maybe to fixate in on Floppy. Not going to find the opera here. Halzerk's on short, trying to support Floppy. Good spot, drops the incendiary. That's going to turn them perhaps into the AWP, which has been trained on this angle. So good utility usage from Floppy to get Halzerk into the playmaker's position. He will not whiff. Can't manage the second, but Floppy's here to trade it. Still concerned for Balk with support in sight off Elige. Swing off box is great, and then Hyped comes through with his trade. It's a 1v4, tough spot, and he lands his second shot, but Floppy survives thanks to the bricks. And it's Complexity back to the lead.
Also, already quite a tumultuous half. Maximum potential here for Complexity to hit 7 rounds. But we're going to have alternate attacks buying anyways. So full strength here as we end this half. And it's been a very interesting one and very promising scenes here for alternate attacks. They've shown us some good stuff, shown us why they're playing Inferno. And it's not a very easy veto for them, knowing that they like to play Anubis, but, so do Complexity. So they have a lot to be proud of so far. Let's see if they can tie it up.
Arrow's waiting for some kind of mid-aggression, hoping Elige would try it again, but he takes a different route. JT gets clipped, but there's more mid-fights where that one came from. Floppy just serving up such a wonderful distraction here for Elige. Sure, you're down 3v5, but what can Elige get back the time? But does this open a bigger door to go and flank Banana? But the thing is, right now, we still have Arrow holding that flank, right? Because there's no eyes on middle, he's anticipating some kind of a push. Not from T-Spawn, but they're still keeping eyes on this.
He's not watching this. Oh, he hits the flick anyways.
Very nice. And suddenly this one feels real dire. All that time, Elige thinks he's got them.
Are they still going to go B? This would be a mistake, right?
We'll see.
Halzerk, we get some redemption here.
Nades over the top.
Oh, Halzerk.
Freeze catches the opening kill. They'll find A open. Grim comes through with 3. Takes half his health and damage, but those headshots are clean.
It's a potential 1v5.
Hyped, grabs bomb, gets out. He hears him on the escape. But as he's running, Grim doesn't chase.
I mean, Grim, they're not going to come B. There's no chance. You're the only man left.
Maybe he's worried that as the bomb runs away, the second player was with him.
1v5, man. He's waiting it out, but I guess he's giving himself a real chance to play.
Wastes no more time. Does come through the mid approach on a walk. And T's have given him this gap. Low health as well for Perks to work with, so Grim's timing could this work out. We get the eyes turned back from Hype, now holding for the short peek, and the Boiler player trying to hunt him down. Sure enough, alternate attacks here to close it. A flick that deserves the replay, but we'll be back with the second half as aTTaX post a convincing T-side start. exciting opening half here from the hometown heroes. A well-prepared alternate attacks take Complexity the distance on their T side of their own map pick. 6 T rounds on Inferno. Definitely something to be proud of if you are aTTaX. And I think just some of the preparation that they kind of referenced, I think was on display in some of those hits.
Yeah, there was words and they backed it up, and we saw some good calls. We saw like decent firepower, and we saw a number of times where they had no advantage coming into a site and yet didn't even drop a player. So unfortunately for me, there is still the slant of, oh, Complexity screwed it up a bit, but this can make it even worse as alternate attacks are potentially going to get back into the lead. A 5v3 on the second pistol, and the T's in Complexity scrambling to make up for these 2 losses. Ooh, that'll help.
Yeah. Floppy going to be rambunctious off that one. We get Perks back sight, 12 kills deep in this map. Then he falters, 3v5 queued up here for Cole. You thought you had it in the bag, as Complexity did on multiple rounds, but looks like alternate attacks, very aggressive attack down Banana to start this pistol, just floods Floppy forward into the A site instead.
I love that.
And his 2K critical alongside Halzerk's.
Arrow actually going for this. Doesn't keep his dualies, goes to the USP just for a chance to not have to reload and walk away.
How gentlemanly.
He's got that killer instinct. He believes that he can win, but eventually he's probably want to go back and get these guns or catch the rotations out or something.
Just trying to piece up Complexity a little bit, you know, hit him with the jab. But a very nice, very important recovered 3v5 from Complexity to take a T-side pistol.
Looks like Halzerk just needed a bit of warm-up in that first half.
Floppy comes through, insta-pop on Ozek. Good cleanup from the Glocks. And that's Cole with a lead early on.
Yeah, 2 apiece. That second pistol could have moved Cole into full tilt.
Oh boy. You know it's on a knife's edge. All right.
Uh-oh.
Coming in with a plan. 5 burning players.
Oh, wait a second.
A second frag. They keep on pushing. Halzerk's here again to clean up. All's good, but he does have the bomb. That could have gotten very sketchy if they get away with another USP kill. Liege just has to breathe through the internal rage that is 5 burning CTs at the top of Banana in an incredibly unorthodox stack. But I like it. Come in with a plan. If you don't have a plan for any sort of round, all sorts of rounds, then you're not trying.
I've got a really bad joke. It would be like a Darth Mike joke.
Okay.
But you could change their name to alternate B stacks.
Get out of here. I bet you Darth loved that.
Yeah, he's probably smiling.
It is good to have Darth on the B stream with us for this one. Him and Mac, I think, you know, we're going to have Blez realist opinions. And then we're going to have the real energy of 2 guys who find the silver linings in everything.
Yeah, true.
Darth's going to be like, yeah, but to give up 6 rounds on CT side means that they just have to practice here on defense a little bit more. And a little more practice goes a long way here for Cologne. Woohoo, yippee! First gun round. This gun round, just as critical, as the second pistol. Hype's gonna miss his shot. That opens a door for JT to swarm. Oh, he doesn't bite down on the MAC-10 jump! Oh, beautiful track from Hype in the action. Right in the thick of it, that attack gets stunned. Do they transition into the immediate B hit? Because Hype has come over to support. They'll pop the nade, and Freeze holds it. See ya, Grim. Couple more shots. Just zinging by, and Freeze overwhelmed, but still Complexity have to know the timing has afforded more defenders to get into position.
Yeah, they didn't read everything there on the site, but they must know now that there are at least 2 in place. So Perks has to be very careful. He's had a great game so far, and he'll get his, at least one. Halzerk up to the plate, 11-9 after getting a lot of kills now in the second half. It was a 1-6 start onto the rifle, and he'll spot one. That's actually beautiful. Tons of pressure now on the CT side.
It's also a bit of a nervous aTTaX not having the best of starts, and so for him to try and take this fight, Halzerk piecing it together, but he'll lose his head.
He's chipping away at them.
Yeah, aTTaX kind of let him in. Nice bait on the jump into the site, just enough to kind of scramble aTTaX and force him to play a 2v1 retake instead. That's Halzerk getting the bomb down, giving himself a chance, but just not lining up the following headshots.
They were really stiff about this attack. Like, it didn't feel like they had a plan for the op being here, and so they just came through using their players as resources to jump across to try to bait a shot out and miss. Basically betting on him being bad, and that wasn't the case. He obviously had 3 chances to shoot. He hit 2 of them, and those were on the fallback. So, I mean, Complexity gave him a chance to win that round because they were so committed to this B split.
Looking to assert that op a little more here. Deep angle down mid, but careful as that smoke cycled slowly. There was nobody behind it. They're gonna go for the boost. Freeze taking an AK peek down Banana. Oh, but he's kind of fumbling the jump up. Got a little weird. It's okay, he gets the position he wanted. And he'll spot a Liege up close. 5v4 for alternate attacks.
Yep, great spot to play.
And a well-timed peek out of Hyped. 5v3, dwindling utility, lesser weapons. Not looking good for Cole, but they do hang on to a bit of Banana control. Maybe they get lucky if they try to just swarm through Freeze.
This is crazy. How much money is spent on this round between both teams, and now alternate attacks are up 5v3.
Arrow gets active. Just continuing to cause Complexity to bleed out here in round 16. We are staring a tied game in the face. Still no secondary player to come support the B site, which you'd think you would in a 5 versus 2.
For sure.
But Freeze, seeing the utility, knows it's coming his way. Boils down to maybe him stopping it himself, and sure, waste no time. Topple Grim, force this down onto Halzerk. Then the support comes over. Big push from Banana, op included. He knows he's got him against the wall. That MP9 gets dealt with. But Halzerk, down to 6 HP. Stop. What?
6 health.
He's got the bomb. It's going to be a sprint for the A site. This is a 1v5. They tried to swarm him, and Halzerk is going to put this bomb down. Oh my lord. A little inexperience shining through. Instant attack out of Freeze. You've given him in the op. A second shot. It's a straight up 1v5.
He started 1 and 6. Missing op shots in the first half to 16 and 10.
Welcome to the big leagues.
He wants his picture on these posters. I thought Grim's one chance at a 1v5 was going to be the peak of this match in terms of clutches. And Halzerk somehow made this happen.
MP9 and op stuck in the corner. And then all of a sudden, you've got pistols back for alternate attacks. Those are the kinds of rounds Complexity are supposed to lose, not win. Deeg comes out.
Oh! Like this, man. And we just saw, after that, he was stone cold, right? No reaction from Halzerk after winning that round. And I think there is just quite a bit of bitterness that has been built up over the course of this match. And I don't think anything except for winning matters anymore. Not that anything should prioritize
USP for Hyped. Look at the 4-player stack, dude. Everybody here's for alternate attacks. aTTaX gets the P250. USP into the halls. Recovery mission, full effect. Arrow still has tall box held, and Bomb is sitting top mid. Look at the deep smoke. They've written off the possibility of him being here. But Arrow, does he make a move? They're starting to double back. He gets his damage in. Now they're on high alert. It's more damage versus JT. Floppy starts to recover. And aTTaX P250 into an op. He's got Floppy up on Graveyard. You've got JT stuck in sight. aTTaX getting closer, and Floppy puts it down. It's never a dull moment with Complexity.
Just doesn't click. We almost got back-to-back unbelievable rounds, but narrowly avoiding disaster, our Complexity, and with that, somehow stabilizing a little bit. I mean, it really could have been a lost game if Halzerk doesn't win that 1v5, if this eco comes through for alternate aTTaX, and I mean, who knows if this is the end of the antics. But for Complexity, at least now they're in double digits. My God, what a game of CS2.
One of the games of all time. And it's only getting started. Quick attack into ult mid. Get a liege to try to spearhead this move up. Banana, utility burning, and instant rotations coming out from alternate aTTaX, throwing a third body at it. The utility strong here for the defense, and they give themselves another round with man advantage.
What an absolutely zany game. We didn't even really get to see the reactions of the aTTaX players after losing that.
Yeah, they probably looked as depressed as Halzerk.
You know, after winning it.
He didn't even blink.
Yeah, there's it.
Nice attack here from the defense, but they're throwing it away. Oh, they try to go for another peek. Sometimes it boils down to timing. They tried to interrupt a hit that was being put in position, tried to write off Complexity's preparation for an assault as opposed to a passive defense, and instead that 5v4 gets turned upside down and Complexity secure their 11th.
The most relaxing round so far here, most comfortable win for Complexity. But yeah, I mean, in terms of spirit, like I get it, like with the rounds that they had lost coming into that point. I mean, we talk about how this is a failure for Complexity if they don't crush this game. They still have alternate aTTaX at that like 7 rounds mark, but I think right around there is where it doesn't even feel as much like a win anymore, considering the competition they know they have to fight if they're going to get through stage 1 into, you know, get to playoffs at some point. But like, they just can't celebrate anything anymore. You know, they just need a big win at this point before they can start smiling again. I feel like the energy is very, very low for Complexity.
Because we said it before this game even went live, right? Even letting alternate aTTaX touch 6-7 rounds.
Yeah.
That wasn't going to be what they wanted. They were here to stomp.
Yeah, we got to stick to that. You know, it's like and you could see it on their faces. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Like, I've never seen anybody so disappointed after winning a 1v5. Like, that might be a world's first.
I don't know if anybody on the team celebrated.
Yeah. Like that, you know, that could be a team that's locked in or pissed off, and it's impossible to tell which one. But we know.
Yeah. I have a hunch.
Oh, man. Try to end on a high note is the goal.
Yeah. Honestly, if they just sweep away what's left of alternate aTTaX here on Inferno, we get to Anubis, they get to have that stomp, then, you know, it all begins. We have to be real. There's been some hiccups here for Complexity, some slow starts in the individual department, but simultaneously, they were under a magnifying glass in terms of preparation from aTTaX. Survive the first scare, stomp out the embers on map 2, and get your Cologne started. That is the Complexity goal at the moment. But any round, every round, could go south. That much we've learned.
I mean, they've garnered full respect out of Complexity. Alternate aTTaX have done a bang-up job of winning the unlikely rounds in this game and have them playing, you know, very standard, very carefully, crossing their T's and dotting their I's. Oh my God.
Nice timing peek, but Grim's got that quick trade. Desert Eagle overwhelmed. Perks back sight. Floppy coming through with some saving grace as the trade train from Complexity chugs along into the A site. 12th round secured. And if you weren't here for all of these rounds, and you just look at the score, you're going to think, okay, yeah, complexity, just another day, you know?
Hey, alternate attacks, not bad.
Hey, you did all right, kid.
I would pay big money for a comp video.
Yeah, me too.
I need to hear.
Yeah. To be a fly on the wall when complexity rewatches some of these rounds.
Oh my gosh. But now they're just winning.
Good.
Last few rounds, just winning. This one's a little awkward, obviously. Small timing here where Halzerk dies, but
could have been much worse.
Could have been much worse.
As we've learned with some of the other ones. So, can Cole shut it down in the straight-up gun round? I think for their sake, it's just about just get out of here as fast as you can. Step outside, big breath, dominate Anubis. Whew. And Elige gonna make sure to kick off round 20 with a comfortable 5 versus 4. The utility doesn't even get him out of the corner, so he's ready to go for his second fight, and he'll get that. It's gonna be Freeze to try and pick up slack. Peek coming towards Hype, though. He's been good at holding the line. Grim's caught that second B kill. That's going to be the open door. Yes, simultaneous with the bracket attack. That's going to keep two players kind of hard stuck in a site. Their arch rotation scrambling for the B hit. And it is no doubt inbound.
This couldn't be worse here for alternate attacks. They have no idea what's happening to them. Full B split incoming. aTTaX is not going up against 5 players on Banana. There's a full arch split.
Yeah.
And his 2 players on A side are just crossing their toes hoping that it's a fake. They're going to just probably walk in behind him, right? Oh, Complexity don't even believe they wouldn't know about this yet, so.
Smoke it off. Extra cautious. Can't afford to drop the ball. And it doesn't seem like they will. It's a challenge out of the gate from alternate attacks. It's a well-oiled T side with a few zany moments sprinkled in. But ultimately, Complexity knocking on the door of a map 1 win. And it's good to see some of the individuals turning it up a notch. Halzerk, who started one of the slowest players of Complexity, piecing together a 1v5. Let's just hope for their sake. As said, they can move from Inferno to Anubis and try to get that dominant win they're looking to open Cologne with. Hyped, desperate, has to move this one forward. They talked about their preparation coming into the series, and I think that prep was on full display. They backed up the words they had to offer to open this one, but Complexity meant to be cut from a different cloth. Recover in the opening challenge of this one, and now we get the smiles. Now we get the relief, because the challenge of Inferno is over, and it could be the stomp of Anubis up next.
You know, after we saw them play Anubis last, I'm sure Complexity have had some more conversations, but the fundamental issues are still arising, obviously. Let's see how it feels today.
Lots of game tape of Complexity out on Anubis. Should be no surprises in store for alternate attacks. Double wall of smokes up inside of the B site. That'll be your bomb plant. Does Hype get out of there alive? We've already got 2 CTs deep and dark, so all in alternate attacks from long A. And their post plant is 4 players on long.
You have to be ready to double swing, basically.
Right?
I mean, CTs need to tap. There's a
Molotov here for Freeze. He chucks that in, and that gets them off the defuse. That'll burn a little while longer, and considering there's no kit here, CTs feel like they gotta go. They'll get in it. And Grim finds 3. Another Molotov. Freeze then kills them as they double back. Grim gets his. They've got to dive into the fire. They got to get on that bomb, but this is close.
Yeah, that's extremely close. I couldn't really tell.
Double molly post plant? How close?
Oh, they got it! Oh!
The double molly post plant fire from the heavens.
Yeah, well done, alternate attacks. Oh man, I was looking at this retake and I'm like, okay, no smokes here for Complexity to block them off, but they are totally prepared for the situation. Even a smoke for the plant would have ended this round.
I love the fact they're coming in with something different. I mean, you know. You don't need aim when you got the brains.
Nice looking at trying to look at the disappointment over there.
Soak up their frustrations.
No Olaf Meister defuse right now. That actually would have made the difference if he made it to the bomb.
That was like a Hugo Byron B-site ancient type post plant.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. Shout out alternate attacks, man. Absolutely making the most of their
not gonna lie, you don't even
presence here at the first stage.
You don't really see like teams in tier 1 use strats like that. It's like
try harder.
Yeah, try harder. There's always a situation. I mean, it's never like, you don't want to game plan fully for it, just in case like there was a smoke. You want to be ready for both options.
Yeah.
But to have that ready, why not? They got into the site with so many players alive. They pulled out perfectly. Everything went to plan.
It's just fun. It's such an evil way to start the T side, just crank that knife in complexity.
Oh, careful.
Arrow's gonna spam away. Floppy's pistol was in the pocket, but it's the Arrow 2K to alleviate the mid pressure. You can chuck away the Galil, grab the up. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was an AK. They hang on to all the Galils. Nice shot at a JT. Never underestimate JT's dig. Don't do it. Oh, the M4, but the flash is great. Arrow's on for an ace. And as he just tucks tail to dive that A site, that flash, if not for that flash, that M4 just skewers 2 more Ts.
Could have still, even blind, was right around them. Very close call. I kind of want this ace for Arrow, though. I feel like it's a shame that he's not going to hunt this one down, but he's got his eyes on this win, man. That pistol round inspired some confidence. And Jason brought up an interesting point on the Mongols game, and that's
Jason Moses O'Toole.
Jason Moses the Tool.
Yep.
This Cologne is now a point where the Mongols are no longer the underrated, cutesy team coming out of Asia, getting a big win here and there. They're the team that are now ranked higher than most of their competition at the event, and there are expectations for them to win. If they had lost to Saw, even at Kato earlier this year, or an event at big IEM last year, it would have been okay. Oh, they lose to Saw. But you know what? I think this team's pretty good. Maybe they could still take it to a big roster. Maybe they could take down a complexity.
Yeah, sure.
But now the expectations are so much higher. A team like alternate aTTaX, they're in that sort of Goldilocks zone where they're just like, well, everybody wants us to win, and yet no one expects us to, right? There's a certain amount of power that comes with that. Complexity are also the team that are like the Mongols, ranked higher than all of their opponents, but the form does not represent that. And they've got the bitterness built up. They've got the expectations higher than are realistic. And they're the team that they want not to lose more than they want to win in this game.
Ozek leading the charge. We're getting through the first pistol. Desert Eagle spam out from heaven. That nade's gonna do a ton. Poor Floppy. Not to mention Grim, right? Meant to be the savior on the M4. Well, he got more pressure where that first one came from. He peels a second player off the site, but unfortunately it's the pistols around him that just all come up empty-handed. JT's dig again, it gets a chance, but Perch turns. And with a second, he'll clean the board. That is alternate aTTaX to the 3-0 T-side start.
So I'm just curious what your power ranking is in terms of teams you think will win this event, like overall.
Sure, I've got, let me just throw them out there in no particular order, right? Let's
try
in order.
In order. Of okay. Most likely to win.
Most likely to win, I would say still Spirit. Maybe a little boring, but I think, the only team to win 2 big events in the last season. I would put Na'Vi up there because I love the formula, and it just seemed like Liquid had their number, but I can't write them off. I wish I could say Mao's 3.
You're not feeling it.
I'm not feeling it just yet, man.
Big event for them to do that.
I'm going to chuck a G2 3, Mao's 4.
Ah, damn. Okay.
Liquid 5. Grim back plat. Ooh. Nicely done. Hanging on. Getting a multi-frag rolling. Dark Peak. Ooh, you devilish man. A liege coming through the smoke.
Flash is there.
Just as the T thinks that he's got a chance. Just, he gets his moment of reprieve. Oh, I've cleared the bomb site. Toodly-dee.
I've done what I'm supposed to.
Yep. You thought you'd have your moment to catch your breath, but it feels like Elige has had that kind of pep in his step. We saw it on Inferno with the bottom mid push, with the alt mid flank. You know, Elige is definitely, as he should be, throwing himself in as the playmaker.
I mean, he plays fast, and that's something I always give credit to him for. It's like, lots of players have inflated stats, but Elige is just such critical impact all the time, and it's because he's getting the upfront kills early in the round too, which are a little bit harder, a little bit easier to die to, and can provide you some more like sort of parabolic stats as an entry fragger. But with him, he's just so consistent in that position. It's really just rare to see. Especially, it's just year-over-year consistency with him that's just so amazing. I mean, he's right up there with people like Nico in terms of how consistent for how many years. Lots come and go, right?
Right.
You know, we don't know. I mean, Donk seems like it's here to stay, but we got players like Exile and lots of individual rifle talents that have just shocked us, even for a year straight. And then, you know, but there are very, very few. I can't even think of too many more besides Nico and Elige who have really stood the test of time like they have. Besides maybe some of the other liquid riflers, maybe Twist and
a little bit of NAF.
And like even players like Rain, for example. So it's incredible how long they've been good, but they have kind of vast periods of inconsistency as well.
Okay.
But I think that Elige has only had sort of one small one, and that was just when Liquid were totally falling apart.
Yeah, when it was time to go.
But apart from that, like, yeah. Like, this would be the situation where he'd have every excuse in the world to not be the player he was in 2019.
And yet, he continues to dish it out. Trying his absolute damnedest to bring American Counter-Strike back to the top of NA. Looking to Floppy for maybe some more aggressive moves today. A more aggressive lurker is what he has been labeled by some as of late. Being that A anchor and potential A flank means he could have his work set out for him today. JT, half health due to early damage. So him and Grim up inside Dark. Wait, as we do get alternate attacks inching forward. Now, Bomb's still sitting at the top of mid stairs, so it's not like there's a commitment coming in just yet. Hyped doubling back forward as he loses his Canal player. Freeze also toppled out in middle. Arrow's going to smoke off camera. What kind of option does this open up? If anything, I think more of a fake than any sort of commitment. He'll double back to try and join Hype, and we'll see what this 2v4 has left to offer.
You see, when you take over mid control, you put a smoke on camera, it puts pressure on the B player to come back and watch the timing. So for a moment, that site's weaker, but they're actually tailing back towards spawn because they want to save. There's not much chance they can win this. So this is the first time we see Complexity beat them down with just protocols. And that's actually very promising because Inferno was just like nothing but disaster and like really classic CT positions with numbers. And I am happy to see it. It's fair to say that after first map in an event, it could be a warm-up. Unlike for Halzerk, it was a disaster class in the first half into a big recovery. But now they can like genuinely smile a little bit because I think this is the easiest round that shows how much better they are than alternate attacks, at least on paper.
It feels like 2 years now we've been watching Complexity try to become like masters of Anubis. So I think no surprise when our analysts broke it down. This come through in the veto is just a statement for Complexity that even despite some heartbreaking losses to Na'Vi just mere days ago, their Anubis is still fine and dandy. Be watching this mid boost get thrown up. Could it catch Elige on timing? He throws a frag grenade and then peels away from the doors. They're going to leave that gap. And sometimes we watch Complexity, I think, leaving this gap in mid and just banking on their opponents not kind of coming through and kind of vacuuming up the control of it. But Arrow, I love this. No hesitation. Even as the smoke was up, walks through blind, even through the doorway, and he gives himself a chance to just kind of scramble Complexity at the very least. Kill would have been fantastic, but it's still a good spot. It sets Hyped up, pushes him in. 5v4, now they can flood, right? They're banking on these two weapons to get the job done. Halzerk off of the fountain looking for his second serving. It's Elige to come out with a double. Halzerk gets two, but it's Elige with the triple. Yeah. Instant transition once he gets pushed off of Temple through the CT spawn and back into the fray.
Yeah, and he was the guy who get frag down to 27, like really early into the rounds or however much damage it was. And he left the timing inside a middle. They were passively watching it on this camera gap, which is a normal setup to have, but alternate aTTaX with not much to work with decided to go with a low telegraph play, quiet in through mid, and gave themselves a chance to make something hairy happen. But unfortunately for them, they couldn't kill Halzerk fast enough, and that just gave enough time for Elige to use him as a distraction.
Wanted something hairy, but instead you get a Hugo.
That's the bad version.
When life gives you lemons. I think really cool positioning there from Halzerk too, right? You know that middle's compromised, and he just really nailed the timing to a T, using the pillar, allowing for the split to come out and catching both those players off. That's what opened the door for Halzerk to go big. That's what opened the doors for Elige to go bigger. JT, a couple pistols here to hold him back. Saw one at a distance, but we do still have Arrow a little bit closer, so we'll see if things get weird here. Ooh, finds the third piece of this long setup. In fact, it's Elige who's drawn into the fray. JT just dishing out the headshots. Triple kill from him. And a smoke on Temple. Sorry, Freeze, your flank's been found out.
Yeah.
Grim's going to be hard locked on it. He'll take one to the forehead, but, well, bullet gets deflected, and alternate aTTaX, they'll have to wait for a 4th round win if ever they get there.
So, of course, we're cold take him. No surprise, alternate aTTaX are going to start on the T side. But with everything in play so far for Cole, it's a closer scoreline than we saw last map, but it's a much better start to the map, straight up. Alternate aTTaX still are going to need a much better T side, it looks like, to be able to pull this one out of the hat.
What else is in that hat?
We had... I don't know, actually. I mean, while we had some good rounds in the first half of Inferno, they have some stuff to be proud of 100%, but it's also tainted with, you know, the thought that, like, complexity were clearly not at 100%.
Sure.
And, yeah, there has to be that other side to the story.
There's no denying they pounced on the slower kind of individual level of Halzerk back on Inferno. We saw him peek that tall box one time when they were pulling off the 3v5s. But it's a different complexity here on map 2. In the background, you can see Heroic wrapping up. That's an MIBR victory in a best of 3.
Oh, on the 3rd map.
Brazil. With more Brazilian Counter-Strike to come, once we're done here on the B stream, what do we have, Mohan? We've got Furia versus Imperial.
Wow, they really tossed their salad. 13-7 on the last map.
Hit it with the ranch.
Damn, Insani had quite a series, actually.
Good.
Very consistent, almost 20 kills each map.
Yeah, wasn't long ago we saw the Insani IEM debut.
That was at Cato last year.
Yeah, I believe 23.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun. Next thing you know, you're 30.
Still having fun?
Yeah, every day. Just with a little less hair.
I heard that Optimism tapers off around 60.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well.
So I think I personally got until 65.
Okay.
Yeah.
Elige op.
Elige, who knows how many years he's got.
Give me the Elige op. I'll never complain.
He's going to be consistent to the end.
Perkz hoping to catch something going down on A, but it's a hyper-passive Halzerk hold from heaven. Because Perkz senses this opening, maybe you can get past him. Missed shot from Halzerk, suddenly maybe bomb goes down perhaps. Arrow's mid-utility, probably going to keep Floppy a little preoccupied. Or whatever happens, happens. Hype comes through with the headshot on Halzerk. Now Floppy's got to go over towards A, still try to deal with the mid-play. You've got Arrow locked. Oh, and then Hype grabs the opt, and things go from 0 to 100.
Dude, the amount of bad things that happen when Halzerk just misses a shot.
The amount of bad things that happen to complexity. Womp womp.
That was actually kind of comedy because you heard the op shot and the kill feed was just a Deagle headshot.
Let's cue that one to the replay, shall we?
Oh man.
What an entry that must have been. And then you let him get his hands on the op, and then he just goes ahead and takes any retake possibility. Not to mention, Floppy tries to get active top mid. If we want to talk about slow starts with Halzerk back on Inferno, Floppy's 1-6. And JT just died after the round expires. Ooh. So that denies a save. Only Alicia's op is kept.
At least for JT, he's got 6,100.
Let's see it hyped.
I mean, that was just raw. That was so raw. That's just kind of a no excuse moment. You gotta hit that, right?
Yeah, or else.
Or else.
Nice steamy shot of Depresso.
Dopio.
At least for their sake, it is a buy around it. Sure. JT maybe would have had more nades, but here comes the full-blown exec. Floppy trying to get the incendiary down, but oh man, they are right into the thick of it. Halzerk under pressure from Ozek, who sweeps through Fountain with the double. We see them trying to throw grenades, but it felt like it was a couple seconds too late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were just, and they're playing in spots which are not like optimized, where they're almost on top of each other. No one in heaven. They weren't really ready for that. No early information, and I think another op shot missed the first one. So at least we got the second kill, but no kills from Floppy either. And that's, you know, you said the 1-7 or 1-6. I didn't really see many of his deaths before that, but now, you know, this is a very clear one where he needs it. The A site gets toppled. Here's your opper.
Make it full time.
It's just one of those things,
that.
right? It's
think
just,
about that.
It'd be great, probably. It would be, but and he's really aggressive too, which would be pretty sick to watch. But
it's just so mechanical.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
He would be probably really consistent. He's really smart and everything.
Elige, the Zywoo of North America.
NA simple, sort of, with the attitude and everything.
Oh yeah, okay, that's yeah. Although, he makes better YouTube videos.
yeah. Well, his are actually on YouTube. Yeah, but no joke, Alicia's YouTube channel is up there, man. It's awesome. Him and James. Yep. The reason I stopped doing demo reviews, I'm like, I have nothing to offer anymore.
Yeah, sure.
They're so advanced and so detailed. I mean, they're just such fantastic resources.
I mean, just honestly, a shining example of somebody who can play the game at a very high level, but then also express their expertise and teach alongside it, right? Teaching is a skill set, and I think it's one that Elige very much holds on to. Always fun to hear him kind of break down the game that we all play. Some better than others. So, doors ajar, alternate attacks.
Uh-oh.
Here's a more aggressive stance coming out from Complexity. Frees up the mid-rotate too, because they see nothing there. But if the B site falls before, well, they'd have problems. Luckily, Grim hangs on with the double. We do get that peek out of Halzerk from Temple. He hits his shot, but it's not lethal. Uh-oh. B site under wraps.
Yeah. Grim didn't really need to commit off of zone flash. But okay, Halzerk wins up.
That helps.
The op Halzerk, however, one back.
And he switches into the big green. So the cannon seeing its use here, and we see why. Floppy, he's taken out of the retake. Elige, the next victim.
God.
Hot swap to the op, and Ozek ends them. It is indeed aTTaX with a 6-4 lead.
Okay, two things. Did Grim need to flash for himself and then re-swing?
No.
Did Halzerk need to fall back to a new position when he just got the kill on the op?
No.
So right here, I'm wondering, couldn't he have still provided value just holding the angle?
Yes.
Okay. And then that's it. I wonder if there was a better way to hold on to that, considering they had a good start, basically, to holding the site. It would have taken some utility and time to dislodge Grim from another swing. It's like he just wanted to go above and beyond in that moment. Another at the wishing well.
Everyone wants to be the hero, Mohan.
Yeah. Me too, I get it. I would have swung too, I'm just not saying it's a good thing.
That's why we're over here with the microphones. They took our keyboards away.
Who would have a swing?
Yeah.
He doesn't have the makings of a Voss City athlete.
Floppy trying to hold off with just the 5-7, but you know, now it's the weaponry that's been taken away, and oh man, this was brutal. Alternate aTTaX coming out with 5 alive. Ye old Grim, all that's left over, and that A site's got a bomb inbound. This is an excellent T side so far.
Yeah, no
Makings
kidding.
of an 8-4 half. Hyped puts the last man down.
Oh God.
And they are tapping back in to the momentum they held at the beginning of Inferno. 2 strong T-sides from alternate aTTaX, and regardless of outcome in this series, I think they've given us something to talk about. They've given us moments to be proud of. And again, at least for now, that door is still open.
Man, I was ready to give Complexity so much more credit for the start of this game. They fall apart a little bit later now.
Ah, a plot twist.
Yeah, they like change it up a little bit. Keep you guessing.
Yep. New road, same destination.
Yeah, that is the frustrating part about.
Ouch.
Ooh, nice nade.
A couple times JT's been hit by that. They talked about their prep. Close swing on Floppy, not gonna happen. There we go, his second and third kills of the half. Can they come back in a 3v5? Slim pickings. Elige hangs on to his portion of the map. Everybody putting forth a good look. A patient dark play from JT cues up the 4th casualty of alternate aTTaX, and Arrow's bomb is back in T-spawn.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit farther away from it by the second as well.
Ignore your problems.
But the CTs are going to be watching everything because they don't know he left the bomb back there.
Just ignore all your problems and try to swing elsewhere. It's a 5th one for Complexity. It's a map they love to play. And so their T-side after the break should be where they thrive. A peppy Complexity out of the gates. 11 kills for Elysian Grim. Those two rifles put forth, but an isolated A bomb site at times. Floppy, Halzerk had their shortcomings, and we see alternate attacks piece together a 7-round T-side on Complexity's pick of Anubis.
And it's not all just numbers. It's quality CS. It's going up against a sort of good start from Complexity with their recovery. It's a pistol complemented by good rifle rounds as well. So very, very promising. I still not sure, like after watching Inferno, I would say Complexity have a very, very good chance of just still closing this out. But quietly surprised once again by what they put together. Careful on these CT sides. These 3 players on Complexity T side, that's enough. We saw the pistol brought to us between Floppy and Halzerk on Inferno.
All about that dark action. Flashbang to get the angle posted back up. Floppy was the king of the T-side pistol on Inferno. It's what got that map wrapped up. And for the moment, he is chasing down CTs. He's going hunting to the B-bomb site. We're going to get Complexity erecting the wall of smokes, but a gap on left side gives Freeze a chance to swing. Good thing Halzerk covers. A challenge for Hyped, as he has to just lean back and allow Perks to get into position. Now we've got backs turned to him. Halzerk comes down, caught off by the Berettas, which will clean up alongside Hyped. aTTaX with an 8th off of pistol.
They're pretty excited because this is a different situation than Inferno. It's not that 2v4. It is going to be a round 1 to help them keep momentum in what is already a very solid first half on Anubis. Nice enough for Complexity to get the bomb down, and I think it's still going to be muddy waters here for alternate attacks, or Complexity are going to buy up, and it'll probably be a pretty hefty one. This also forces the amount of full amount of money out of alternate attacks. Not going to be able to MP9s and build up an economy. And Hyped is going to get talking to the boys. Looks like Complexity already know what they want to do with this round.
I like the parallel you drew earlier today about ZTR and Hyped and kind of being an academy player that we see get their chance on a tier 1 team, kind of, I don't want to say get fully scapegoated, but just not make the cut per the standards. And then, well, here we are. A big opportunity for alternate attacks in Cologne. Hyped, kind of being the man that's taken up the mantle, the only player with kind of tier 1 LAN experience, the guy who's doing the interviews and kind of becoming the face of this. So, boys become men in the Counter-Strike server. Hyped is on that trajectory. Let's see if they crumble under the pressure, because that's really, really when things get tough. Sometimes it's when you have that lead, you trip over your own shoelaces. Ah, damn it.
Drat!
I have been thwarted.
My IGL says I can't peek anymore.
Yeah. He gives away the M4 at least, so not only do you get tagged by a scout, but now you got to play a FAMAS.
T-moded instantly.
Ooh. You're not the main character this round, my friend.
Uh-oh.
Freeze rattles off.
Careful, but reloading Freeze.
Yeah, good thing he tucks back, just in case they were there to pop. But Complexity a little more patient about it.
All right, so here's that timing created. I mean, Freeze, it's nice for him to do this, but like, yeah, they actually don't even care. They're going to go ahead and make it scary for the CTs who have rotated over this way.
Loudly.
But they're actually faking it. The play right now is Grim coming back to A. Are they readying the split in time? It looks like the fake's going to be perfect. They're biting on the camera smoke.
Yep.
Complexity are creating the map they're looking for.
Perks would have to go above and beyond. If he can cut off Floppy, if Floppy comes in a little too soon, then maybe the camera players can't deal with him.
Should be first.
And JT instant on the rotate. They catch Freeze back in storage. Ooh, that's a sign of a very strong T side.
That's what gaps do.
Yeah.
Like that's a moment where you can be watching passively with camera, but then you're subservient to the smokes that come out. If you get cut off on that info, you were last spotted falling back through camera, they have an inkling that it might be a 3B setup, then that one smoke is going to screw up your whole map. So they had no choice but to scramble a bit, because if Complexity had just gone forward with a regular split towards the other half of the map, no problem. Like they know they've got two surrounded. But that is the tough part about this map, though. It's like, when do you passively spot? When do you stack? And when do you go for mid-control? Because the CTs don't have aggressive ways to keep it late into the round. So oftentimes these late mid timings are really the difference maker for good T sides.
So a very strong second round here from Complexity. Losing the pistol, no problem. Buy in with Galil's. That scout tag, I feel like, also kind of...
It helps.
Yeah, turned away aTTaX's opening moves. Now they're talking about a free M4 upgrade. Everybody survived.
Oh, man, when I see Elise shaking his hand like that, I get worried if he's getting RSI or something.
No.
You know, then when you get tendinitis, it starts burning.
If there's anybody who I trust to kind of have, like...
protocols?
Yeah, and also just like a really good preventative injury routine.
Like a $3,000 automatic ice pack.
Yeah.
Perfectly timed.
Like one day Jabby will sit up straight. Oh God.
Yeah, but Elise also... You know, he just does so much training and everything.
That's also fair, yeah.
So it's like, yeah, that can definitely be an injury that affects you.
We're getting old, man. Some of us are getting old. Get out of the way. Donk's coming. Starting to wrap around this B site. The bomb's getting into position, but this is a gamble stack from alternate aTTaX with the two M4s
it's a
in
really
the
good
right
one.
side. Molly forces him out. JT traded out. That's both the M4s down in dark. Now dealt with. Just the pistols left, one of which on jail. You found the last player, and the bomb's going to disengage. Halzer dives around the corner. Freeze can go take an M4 instead of the Galil if he wants it, but he's not getting further from this position without any fight against Floppy. Floppy locking it in. Halzer punches in the digits. Complexity looking to make mincemeat of that little lead ATN once had. Still have, but, you know, turning tides.
It gets littler.
Littler. Stuart Littler.
What was your favorite childhood movie growing up?
Small Soldiers.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Small Soldiers. One of the most... just the best. I recently rewatched it. Holds up incredibly. You never watched Small Soldiers, dude? The Plight of the Gorgonites?
Is that an animated movie?
No. It's CGI. And IRL. It's IRL and CGI.
Oh, is it Adam Sandler?
No.
Is it the with like toy soldiers that come alive at night?
Yeah, it's called Small Soldiers. And they come alive all the time. It's about a toy company that puts military microchips into their toys, who are designed, half of them as soldiers, to eliminate the Gorgonites.
Got a vague memory of this. Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a story about the underdog coming back and winning.
Oh, so you're feeling nostalgic lately? Mm-hmm. All right.
Turned 30, had to
grasping on everything.
Yeah, please.
No, I've been going back and enjoying things.
I hope we don't hit an iceberg.
Is that from the movie?
It's the closing line.
Yeah, and if you want to know what happens if they hit it or not, you got to watch.
Spoiler, there's no iceberg.
That's a big spoiler, Connor, because I really didn't know.
That's called Titanic. Oh, spoiler. There's an iceberg there, too.
What a twist. You were just making up the line. It wasn't even from the movie. And you did it in the Forrest Gump voice, which is the craziest part of all.
Well, while in memory lane. Why that you just leaked into my brain? Ooh, just pistols. We're supposed to be able to goof and gaff, but there's an AK.
Yep.
Run for the B site. We saw them get ahead of the exec a round prior, but just not have the tools for the job.
No connecting site smokes just yet.
They're getting in. They're getting in. That AK's down on long. USP in the corner. Oh, they're the rifles.
What's happening right here? They're just out of utility, basically, so they have to swing on this.
The
ball has not crossed.
Okay, they throw it. Floppy's got the safe plan. They can isolate the fight on jail. They know that. They try to take it to Grim, but Grim is prepared for him. Perks didn't go swinging alongside his teammate, so now he's got to find the 1v2.
On 2 kills so far.
No kit. It's going to be a tough one, but they came in with majority pistols, so already good damage. Come on, bud. Ooh. Grim on the same spot. Floppy's yet to move a muscle, and Grim's got him covered. Locked in is Complexity's 8th, and as anticipated, the T side ties up quick.
Yeah, you spoiled it. The lead's gone, like you said, even though we didn't know if that was going to happen, but it comes down to this, first duel into spotting some players, and this is sort of a curious situation where I think their most important site smoke is not there. I don't know if it's because the anti-eco, they want to like duel it out, but it looked like they ran out of utility a little bit sooner than they expected. But they do have the duelers. They do have the duelers available to bail them out.
Duelists.
Heart of the cards. Why'd you laugh at your own setup? You knew it was coming.
Alish making quick work of long control. Careful perks. Oh, he sees it. Excellent. Hangs on, but more where Alish came from. Missed op shot out of Halzerg.
Shot Halzerg. That's when bad things happen.
Ollie goes in front of this.
Grim is not.
Oh, down he goes. Look at the swarm here from alternate attacks. They just jumped on that A site like there was the full commit. Luckily, they've still got an anchor in place, right? Long control over on the opposite side of the map from aTTaX. He sees nothing, so they'll stay here. Kind of 2 mid, 2 A, anticipating Complexity maybe coming back for second servings.
Is there already a call here for Grim to just peel back instead of try to cheat over towards camera? Or maybe, expecting probably that his teammates get at least 1 kill in the site. That's fair. The lurk, though, still potential for it. They bifurcated the defense. There's a chance that this attack goes well if Grim gets his.
And he does.
And now they actually are going to go back the other way, but do they think there's another player? Hyped. He gets a second player.
12th frag to the board.
Oh my God, they're walking it back again.
Then the dark peak trades for him. Floppy's got to sprint it now. If you haven't done enough to keep everyone corralled, he's got to be confident that he can dive into the site, at least get into the safe side. And he sees that it's close. They're going to try to get him down, and they will. Arrow anticipating the fake. Alternate attacks rock that boat back and forth, and it's Complexity kind of taken over. Crashing waves on the T side. CT's back to the lead.
That became a hard situation to read on this side of the map. The extra player, as Grim got this, they got both kills within it. Maybe if they killed Alish and Halzerg with 2 different people, they would have known. I'm not sure, but man, the amount of rotations back and forth almost worked out in an interesting way for Complexity, but alternate attacks, kept their guns out while the sun was out. Made sure to not allow for one of those rotations to cause a mess. So the way this round starts is Alish sort of creeps into the angle that Perks is holding, and it's a very honest duel won by him, who again has had a solid map overall. I think the closer a team like alternate attacks gets to the finish line, the more time you give them to think. The slower the rounds.
As we kind of saw them get outplayed on that A site once. But this one's looking like a full B committal. Arrow. Oh, very dangerously close to the front runner. So the perfect entries from Halzerg. Almost stopped by Hyped, but Floppy's here to help out. It's a big burst and a drive-by UMP.
God, it's literally the perfect exec. But it's a 2v3. I don't know. They're going to try. It's MP9. It's so far away. They just want to maintain the money. So they're going to get out of here. Complexity win that off of a perfect call, and it's a contact play. They have sort of a mixed buy. They use low utility, and literally, they're in position to get the molly down on spotting anybody, but they're really hoping it's maybe an op swinging out wide or a rifler taking 1 peek, not 4 guys hugging the wall, ready to explode on you. Even with a full spread, that molly, well, it's not going to be a full spread as soon as they release it when you're that close.
Yep.
It's just not going to do that much damage.
Should never stop moving. That first frag was all about just getting as much space as possible. Look at him go, gunning for it. And then good on Floppy to make sure that things don't get completely stuffed by Hype. So, oh man, look at the ramifications that round has. Obviously 2 weapons saved for alternate attacks, but...
It's on op, right? No? No. I thought they dropped one. Okay.
You're seeing things, Mohan.
I am. just got new glasses too.
Oh.
No refunds.
Trying to make the most of the M4 with the perch in B. Bomb is kind of eyeing up long A control alongside Halzerk. But Complexity want to play an early timing into the B site. Doing a good job of keeping people stacked. Pistols found out. That's 2 confirmed. Nice shot from Floppy. Actually, he was the man in the back. All the while, we get that bomb leaking into the A play. So really nice kind of, you know, two-pronged attack from Complexity.
Yeah, that's a hard call to deal with.
Yes.
The last round was such a simplistic maneuver into like a double fake at the same time. It's like a nice one here for Complexity. That's I do feel bad for alternate aTTaX. They're getting full strength. Cole now coming in on T side.
JT digging deep, putting together the master plan.
Forcing them to work map control on both halves of the map and have perfect communication just to make sure they don't fall for anything. But now it's like, what's coming up next? I think the main thing is definitely Dark Control is getting taken way too early from alternate aTTaX, and this is a round where they don't have that much to work with, so it's not too bad. But I think after the 2 saved guns, they've got a full buy, but it's still with just a concession of one MP9.
All right. Hyper-aggressive B setup at the same time as aTTaX getting the Elige frag. Shocking that he gets away with one there. Felt like he was blind and getting pummeled. Arrow not going to be able to escape. He turns his back, and Floppy makes sure that there is no retreat allowed. We go 3v3. Alternate aTTaX goes for the double A setup. Freezes eyes, drawn back towards mid. Suddenly, things get quiet.
And even if they think there's 2 players here on CT, it's actually pretty easy to isolate them because they have to watch camera. I think they know Freeze is around here. And no smoke means Floppy puts pressure on, and it's really perfect. They've got info on the second last player.
But that second to last player is putting up a fight, and he's got support.
Ooh.
Oh, Freeze doesn't need support, but it does get in position. An ace demanded of Floppy, 4 kills for him. And with 13 health, he hunts the duel, anticipates the peak, but just can't put that last man down. aTTaX tie up.
Nice try, but you know, even better round there from the heavens. That's a really good hold and very tough to do, and it starts off with aTTaX getting blinded and killing Elige to kick the round off. Freeze. What a hold, man.
Hell yeah.
That's a hype moment.
Good. Well-earned round, keeps this game tight. A swift reminder, any results possible. And a welcome sight to see that alternate aTTaX have come to play. Be all too easy to write them off here in Cologne. Stiff competition. Elige awaits somebody overstepping. It could be Freeze. Man of the last round. 2 opponents facing the door. They find him. Oh, but he gets both!
Oh, okay.
Freeze hangs on. Elige peeks through. Man advantage to the defense. aTTaX cautious.
Floppy
He's got to be.
Had a great round just now. They got to be very careful. But they dodge, avoid getting the rotation kill. Some final nades coming in. We're down to 3 flashes here for Complexity.
Floppy's looking to get active in middle at the same time, but this also leaves the door open for Perks to start his flank because Floppy's already surpassed the bridge.
He's coming in down from beneath. Like, this is a full stack to the wrong side now.
They're going to have to run. He's found the open path, but because he's already under the bridge, he can't stop them. They have to run, and it's deep temple control. Floppy able to open that door. They're going to get onto the site with mere seconds left. Bomb to be planted, and alternate aTTaX tasked with a retake with MP9s. They have to call it quits.
Wow.
JT just outmaneuvers, finagled our alternate attacks. Complexity back with a lead.
There's so much utility invested to the point where there was literally 3 flashes left and 3 Ts outside of both sites, and they used all of that distraction just to get Floppy up through middle, and he comes through with so much X factor. That 2K spray down on the rotations. If he didn't get both kills, they don't have enough time to get to the site and plant. That would have been too much resistance. That's brutal. But the player with the MP9 rotating through canals is the one who makes the mistake.
Sure. Kind of gets too close.
He was hoping maybe that Floppy was the third player who was in dark already when they were going to split, but he was just too confident they were going to commit.
Yep.
And they left that kind of big gap inside of middle and just hoped that Complexity were going to split with it, but they have been using it so often.
Because even if he doesn't catch Floppy, still just maybe catching those 2 other rotators as they start to sprint. Could have stopped bomb, could have slowed something down. But
Yeah. If he stayed in the site.
All 3. Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Just straight up the site itself.
Yeah. Stayed in the site, watched the flank, played in heaven, or rotated a different way.
Okay.
Yeah. Then if he rotated out through spawn, then he has a chance to come back. And any little bit would have stopped them.
So many what ifs, could have been.
Oh, yeah.
But this is when the pressure is at its peak for the likes of alternate attacks. Going tit for tat with Complexity on Anubis. They're only 1 round away, but then you remind yourself you're playing with majority pistols. If it's not Arrow or Perks here in round 22, then it's Complexity to secure OT. Deagle finds a bit of damage. Freeze trying to make the most of it after already getting that 2K last round to kind of set up attacks to close the round. Liege takes the helm of the dark control. We've got bomb floating back in water, so let this long player also get into position. And it's looking like a rinse and repeat of a round we've seen prior, where the 3 dark players kind of keep the pressure up, and maybe bomb ends up walking into an open A. Bolstered by the last round, where we see CTs peel off early. Halzerk finds Freeze. Good mid-kill. And again, that pressure's on. There goes the A rotate, and he does it loud again. So Floppy sees that as an opening, but we do get Perks coming back along the wall. Still, though, gives away enough audio for Floppy to get hyper-aggressive, right? That aggressive lurk that just takes so much control, coupled with the utility, keeps alternate attacks out of their bomb site. But a nice P250 tap from Hyped. He tries to stretch for the AK, gets a little antsy, and has to call it quits. This is Complexity's 12.
It is. Now it is alternate attack saving up for this next moment. So unfortunately for them, they don't allow themselves to tie up, maybe even get their money back on its feet early, but they're still looking to go for the full strength buy in round 23. This half has all been about Floppy, you know, finding leads, JT setting up those moments, but that aggressive lurk that I think you brought up, you know, that he opened up in that way, that initiative has basically served them massively in having options when their site hits have failed.
Yeah, I asked Maui Snake this morning, kind of like, what have you thought about Cole as of late? You know, he's a fan of the team, a friend of the team, perhaps. He said, keep your eyes on Floppy. I hope it's just kind of, you know, indicative of maybe some more confidence. And we have seen these confident plays into the A site to get both 11 and 12 on the board for Cole. So, can they close is always the question with Complexity. Smokes down at both entry points to the B site. aTTaX wanting to put a third member inside A ahead of time, but this also couples with a gap in the defense in that mid. Man, you put a smoke down on camera, everything becomes a question mark for the CTs, but luckily for them, that's not a problem just yet. Minute to the clock, more util down. Defense banking on 2 more smokes and an incendiary, but we get, of course, Complexity steps closer. Bombs in tow. They're going to peek, and they both go down. It's kills across the board for Cole. Chance here for Ozek, looking to shine. Freeze looking to bolster him. Already out from Temple. The 2 are here, but Freeze gets cleared, and Complexity who've gotten themselves into the B-bomb site. It's 40 health between Complexity and a 2-0 win over top of Alternate Attacks, who absolutely brought the level of competition to the server today, who claimed they had done their preparation and proved it, and on an individual level had given us a hope between rounds to rounds. Ultimately, Complexity survived this test, but it's still that disheartened, disheveled Cole, as maybe it's not as easy as they'd hope, but a close is a close for Complexity.
Yeah, you've got to be very impressed with the level that they brought. And for Complexity, it's a sigh of relief, the fact that they have